Welcome back, everybody. You got your cackle leader here, Garcia, and our co-host,
Bradley Kerwin, long thought dead, but not.
All those little ninjas couldn't get him yet. What have you been up to?
Oh my god, so much. I mean, first and foremost, obviously, we got a baby on the way. Due Friday. Yeah. I'd give you my address to send me stuff, but we have a lot of stuff already, so I don't need you knowing where I live.
Go ahead and give love in the comments. Say congratulations to Mr. fucking Bradley over here. So today, what beer are we doing?
So we're going to be doing a old favorite. I say favorite because it's really good. It's in my family of beers that are my favorite. That's the Golden Drac. I'm going to brutally butcher this name. It's the Brewers van Steenbeers, but they're the company that makes it. It's fantastic. It's Piraat Ale. It's very, very good.
And that's P-I-R-A-A-T.
Yes, you will not spell it pirate, unless you want something else.
Let's go ahead and roll that B-roll, bud.
There we go.
At the end of a nice meal, relax with Piraat, the cigar lover's dream of a triple ale. This high-fermentation blonde ale is enhanced with a secondary fermentation. It has a full, hearty aroma, perfect bittersweet balance, and a pleasant aftertaste. The von Steenberg Brewery created Piraat in 1988 in the wake of the success of its Golden Drac. Joseph von Steenberg used the same unique wine yeast as in Golden Drac to create a unique, excellent amber beer. The result is a very drinkable but strong beer worthy of the name Piraat. Its powers take you on a journey through some unique flavors based on the brewer's rich traditions. A living beer with a rich past. Set sail.
What did you think of that B-roll?
It was great.
Why don't you give us those beer etiquette facts?
Okay, so I know you guys have been watching us for a long time. Of course you have. But we've used Beer Advocate almost exclusively. They're really great. They've got a lot of reviews on there for pretty much whatever you're drinking at that time. At this point, for the Piraat Ale, there's a lot of information because it is one of the more popular ones. It's great. It's delicious. But just some of the factual information, 10.5 ABV. So obviously your again, American beers, your classic American beers are anywhere between 3 and 5%. So obviously the alcohol content is going to be quite a bit higher. The IBU value is at 23, meaning that it's a little bitter, but it's not overly sour tasting or anything that's going to give you kind of a pucker mouth. The reviews on there obviously lavish praise on it, but the three things that I took away from it were its golden color, the caramel pour and taste, and the fact that there is a number of different flavors and aromas that roam through it. So everything from the smell to the taste, there are dark fruits, honey, you name it. It's delicious. And Beer Advocate backs me up on that claim too.
That sounds like a pretty amazing beer.
It's great.
What notes do you get out of it? Just give it a good old
So very similar to most wheat-based beers, which this is. You do obviously get that kind of weedy, oaty aroma, but also too, there's a strong caramel. It's a little sweet on the nose as well. So the taste, it's got those same smells that you were receiving, but also it has a little bit of spiciness that doesn't necessarily come through, the nose.
I was gonna say like spiced honey mead.
Exactly.
Is
Very, very close. Hey, they're from Norway, so I got a feeling they know what they're talking about.
And as we heard earlier in the B-roll, the voiceover, this is a double fermented ale, correct?
Yes. So what this ends up happening is, for their process, obviously the exact specifics are going to be very, very particular to them and probably under lock and key. But a double fermentation process is essentially where they ferment it as they normally do for most beers. They'll then stop the fermentation, the first round of fermentation, then put it through a second one, completely separate, completely different. And it just helps bring out a lot more flavor and a lot more color, in addition to how they're bottled. So it's
and that's what gives
works
us
for
this
me.
Nice hearty taste.
Well, that's kind of the thing too, is that with the double fermentation, it also does increase the viscosity just a little bit. So you got a little bit more of a thicker beer. You know what I mean? It's not
go ahead and roll
super
that
watery.
Pour real quick.
There you go.
Now, what comments do we have?
Oh, so like I had mentioned earlier, there are obviously, as for any other review site. There are those that write paragraphs. There are those that write a very short and sweet 3-word sentence. This beer good, what have you. It runs the gamut. But when you pull up Beer Advocate and you look at those first couple of comments, the first one is probably the best one, as it usually is. It goes through all the different notes that they felt that they received either by nose or by taste, the actual look of the beverage itself, but it goes on about how you can taste dried fruits, honey, caramel, sugary sweetness with a little bit of spice. It's very, very good.
Can our viewers look forward to a review written by our very own Mr. Curly?
Yeah, so that's something that we've been meaning to do is interact a little bit more with the beer community. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but with Beer Advocate just being so well-rounded and its inventory, has been perfect every time we've tried to look something up. So, absolutely. If that's a great way to interact with those that agree with our beer tastes or some that don't, or just to learn about something that we are missing, absolutely. That's definitely going to happen.
All right, so look forward to that on Beer Advocate. The next website we're going on is the Van Steenberge website, or how do you say it?
Oh boy, this is the one that I brutally butchered earlier in the episode. So this is it's the Brewerge Van Steenberge Brewery.
So it'd be
Yes.
vansteenberge.com, or Van Steenberge, BERGE.com. And you go ahead and scroll down. As you see when you enter the website, it has an age lock on it, which is very common in a lot of websites. But as you've seen in the Stone Brewing website, didn't have an age lock on that one.
Now I wonder, is this because it's not a domestic brewery? Is this something that's international and required?
I think you might be right on that, but I'm not entirely sure. If y'all want to look it up and answer it in the comments down below, you definitely can. Now, as you see, this is a very beautiful, very interactive website. And as you go ahead and go to the Piraat beers, you're actually going to see that they have 3 different Piraat ales.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Piraat Original,
Yep.
which is a double fermentation. You have your Piraat Triple IPA, and that one is, I'll probably do without the host here.
I'll try it. I mean, they make some great beer, so maybe they knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm willing to, give them the benefit of the doubt.
We get with our
A triple IPA. I don't even like single IPAs. Woo.
Since with our viewer count or our subscription count, if we get 10 likes, he'll go ahead and drink.
I'll drink the
triple
whole
hop.
thing.
Yep. So go ahead and get us those likes, everybody. And then the last Piraat beer is the Piraat Red Ale.
Yes.
And each of these are very distinct, very different types of beer for being all in the same class.
Very, very true. Well, you got to understand too. I mean, you do have breweries where what was the IPA that you had earlier today?
Oh, that's the Stone Brewing Tangerine Express, which is a heavy, fruity IPA.
And that's one I had a chance to try it, and it was actually pretty good. But they do crank out a lot of IPAs. Even probably their most famous one is the Arrogant Bastard, which is absolutely an IPA. But you've got to try and make seasonal beers to advocate for summertime. If you want to barbecue, you're not going to drink the same dark beer that you might have in the wintertime. You might, but there are far more enjoyable ones. So a seasonal beer is perfect, a different flavor profile. So between the red, the triple IPA, and the normal red, Piraat Ale, you got some of your bases covered at least.
Well, actually, the Piraat Brew line is available, all 3 of them, all
That's
year
right,
long.
year-round.
Year-round.
That's right.
They're not a seasonal beer like the Tangerine Express. And if you want more information on that Tangerine Express, and you like fruity IPAs, but you don't like anything that tastes like fruit juice, go ahead and check out the last video, Stone Brewing Tangerine Express.
There you go.
And that's the episode that we have for you today. And it was a Piraat Belgian Ale.
Yep.
An amazing, hearty, meaty beer. What's the next big event we have coming up?
So, the one event that I absolutely look forward to each and every year is Born Free. This is something that was pushed back, obviously because of all the craziness that's going on in the planet, from its normal June date to September. So it's going to be the end of September. It's a congregation of all of Southern California's coolest bikes. More bikes than the eye can see. You've got food, all manner of different parts vendors, all kinds of cool art, music. There's even a half pipe where I spend a ton of my time. It's awesome.
a festival for festivals to be. So we're going to go ahead and shoot that episode a bit different. And that one's going to be a rush edit because I'm going to get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so
like you guys were there.
Well, it's not going to come out on a Monday. That's going to be a additional episode that's going to come out. And it's going to have 2 vantage points. It's going to be me with the 4K camera. And we're going to go ahead and give Mr. Bradley Kerwin here the GoPro.
Yeah.
And all the attachments so he can go ahead and attach it to himself however he wants so he can get the best footage possible.
So if you guys have watched some of my previous videos, or our previous videos, I may have mentioned it some time ago, but my wife is actually due to give birth come Friday. That's right, a little us.
And what's the name of this new coming god or goddess?
So we did keep the gender a secret, also from ourselves. So for a boy, we were thinking of Killian, which is super old school Irish, which I am. Me being first generation, my father moving to the U.S. when he was 11, from Ireland, Natch. For the girl, we're going with Lilith, which is very nice.
Yeah. And Lilith is an old school god from back in the day. And if I remember correctly from you, Killian's name is going to be Dresden on the middle, who is, well, should be damn near a god from literature lore.
Yeah.
I mean, he kills monsters all up and down sideways.
All day long. So, yeah.
Demigod at least.
So, if it's a boy, we are looking at Killian Dresden. Dresden being my, named after my favorite book series. So, Harry Dresden is going to be, obviously, the coolest butt kicker around. And
he's going to go ahead and read those Harry Dresden files to Killian.
Yes.
Just so he knows his lineage.
Where he's coming from.
Look forward to that. And I believe, if he's willing, we're going to go ahead and be graced with pictures on Hyena's Den.
Yeah. So, if anything, obviously, of course, there are going to be pictures for you to ooh and ah over. It's going to be an adorable baby. I'm sure I make adorable babies. My wife's a lot prettier than me, so that's how we know.
And I'm sure he's going to be rocking the good old Hyena logo.
Natural.
So look forward to that. Look forward to the next video coming out. The next video that's actually coming out the week after this is going to be Einstock.
Yeah.
It was an amazing beer that we both enjoyed. It was a very crisp and crystal clear beer that had a long history.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. And from the cackle, from your cackle leader, and from Bradley Kerwin, here's to you.